Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi. Zevachim Kuf Yud Zayin. We begin on Kuf Tes Zayin Amabez, 4 lines from the bottom. Tanya, we go back to the various zones, these machnos. So we have the Mishkan, surrounded by Leviim, surrounded by Machne Yisrael. Each zone has its own status with respect to all kinds of halachas. Tanya, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Omer. He says, look, although we're accustomed to thinking 3 machnos, really there was a 4th. Oid acheres haisa, there was yet a 4th zone. V'cheil Ezras Nashim. It was called the Cheil, the area beside Ezras Nashim. Lo yahayu ein shna aleh. And if a tummy would walk in there, he wouldn't get punished. It has its own status. Rashi brings in the Mishnayos and Kalim, discusses exactly the the parameters, the guidelines of this. Okay, in any case, that's number 1. Number 2, Uve Shiloi. You meant to know that when the Mishkan was established in Shiloi for those 369 years, things changed. Instead of 3 zones, they were merely 2. So 1 was missing. So again, the 3 are Machne Shechina, Machne Levia, Machne Yisrael. By Shiloi, only 2. Hai minayu lihava. Now let's investigate which one was missing. Amar Rabba, Mistavra. You know what? It makes sense. The Machne Levia, Mia Havoy. Certainly, Levia was there. That wasn't the missing one, because it cannot be otherwise. Because if you'll suggest that one had been missing, it runs us into complications. We all know that a tameh may not enter. Well, it depends on his level of tumah, which will determine which machne he cannot enter. So a fellow who touched a mace, nothing internal, nothing self-developed, he leaves machne shechina. So let's say, correspondingly in Yerushalayim, it was the Beis Hamikdash, surrounded by Harabayis, which was machne Levia, surrounded by Yerushalayim, which had the status of machne Yisrael. So Tmei Meis leaves machne shechina only and stays in machne Levia. A fellow who is for instance, a zav, self-generated tumah, his status is more, severe, so to speak, more strict, and he has to leave even machne Levia, machne, Harabayis, and stay in Yerushalayim. The furthermost, the one that's furthest out, is the Mitzorah. Bodad Yeshev, in isolation, stay out all 3 machnes. Now, you cannot say that Machne Levia was missing, because each one of these types, these categories of Tumah, sort of they're designated, so to speak, to these, to his person. Each one has his own personal zone, so to speak, designated specifically for that Tumah, right? So you cannot say that Levia was missing, because then where are you going to put the Tmei Meis, who was typically in Machne Levia? You're going to send them out to Machne Yisrael together with the Zav. So Zav and Tmei Meis are sharing the same Machne. There's no uniqueness. Nimtzu Zav and Tmei Meisim mishtalchen chus lemachne achas. So if there's only Shechina and then immediately Yisrael, then the Tmei Meis and the Zav will sit in Machne Yisrael together. And that's incorrect. The Torah says each one gets his own specific zone. Send out the Tmeim, lest they defile their respective encampments, their respective zones, which teaches that each one has his own specific area. Each one gets his own machne. You can't lump them together in the same machne. So apparently Machne Levia was there, which was meant for the Tmei Meis, and the Zav was sent beyond that machne, in his own place. Amalei Rabba, says Rabba to Rabba, hold it. So you're deleting, instead of Machne Levia, you're deleting Machne Yisrael, then you're running into the same issue with the Mitzorah. He's going to be sharing the same zone with the Zav, and that's incorrect. The Mitzorah is meant to be in isolation, all by himself, outside all 3 machnes. Elamai, so what's the alternative? Machne Yisrael lehavoi. Machne Yisrael was missing. Nimtzu Zav and Mitzorah mishtachlu makam echad. So the Zav and the Mitzorah are sent off to the same area. The Torah says, Bada Dieshe, that the Mitzvah sits himself in isolation. Shlo Yeshe Tamei Acher Imai. He doesn't share a space with another Tamei. So, we're running into some sort of quandrum here, and we'll have to re-explain that statement of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who spoke about Shiloi missing a machne. Eloilam kulot lasa havu. In reality, all three machnes were present in Shiloi as well, providing each tummy with his own, personal zone. Lasa havu. Umayloi hayu shtei machnes. Now, when he said that there were only two, liklita, he meant with respect to absorption. Typically, a person who kills unintentionally, kills b'shoigig, as we learned back in Mesechus Makos, he goes to an Ir Miklat, a city of refuge. There were these designated cities. Some of them were the cities of the Leviite cities that they resided in. So it was meant for Klita, to absorb to protect the killer. And the Machne Levia had that same status as well. So in the Midbar, Machne Levia accomplished that, feat. And in Shiloi as well, there was a Machne Levia, but that's the point. In Shiloi, it did not function as a place of refuge. When he said only two machnes, he meant to say that the third one, the Levia, wasn't a functioning entity with respect to being a place of refuge. Ask the Gemara, Michlal. So he had to run to a proper city of refuge. He could not take coverage in the Machne Levia. Ask the Gemara, Michlal de Midbar Havoy, called to Machne Levia. Do you mean to say that in the Midbar, Machne Levia did function as a place of refuge? How do we know that? V'atani, we actually have a brayso, v'samte l'chom Hashem is addressing Moshe Rabbeinu, v'samte l'chom makom. B'chayecha, even during your lifetime, before you enter Eretz Yisrael, and they established the formal Ori Miklat, there will be this type of phenomenon even during your lifetime in the Midbar. Makom, your place, meaning your zone, your encampment, Machne Levia Mekayimcha, Asher Yanos Shama, where the fellow will escape to. Malamed, we learn Shemagum Midbar. Even in the Midbar, they send him off to the Ir Miklat. Leichem Geil, where's the place of refuge? Machne Levia. There you go. Mekan Amr. Based on this, we learn that not only a Yisrael has to take coverage in the Machne Levia, even a Ben Levi Shaharag. The pasuk says v'samte l'chom makom. So that also indicates to us that Hashem is telling Moshe, even you, who belongs to the Shevet Levi, if one of you people who are already there, already residing in the Machne Levia, what happens if one of you encounter this type of experience? Where do you go? You don't know where to run. You're ready in Machne Levia. Mikan Amr, you learn from here. No, Ben Levi Shaharag, even a Ben Levi who got involved in this, Goylam Plach Leplach, he also has to do Golas. Even you, Leviim, have to go into exile. Plach Leplach, from city to city. So if he lives in city A, he has to go run to city B. Another, Leviite city for coverage. But let's say he decided, I'm going to go to a different neighborhood in this city. Okay, but the Eved, Pilchai, Koltoi, it will protect him. Just like in the Midbar, the Leviim were pretty much in the same zone, and the only way they could be goyel is from sort of one neighborhood to the other, one tent to the other. So likewise, in the future, it works the same way. L'chatchila, a proper exile. But this also works. Micro, where do we actually find this in the pasuk? That if the Ben Levi stayed in the same city, just ventured from neighborhood to neighborhood, it works. He resides in his city. The city, his own city, which already absorbed him. So, preferably he's got to go to the other city for a proper golas, but if he stays in town, it works. Mishnah speaks about the next phase in history when they entered Eretz Yisrael. First 14 years they were busy capturing, conquering, dividing. They didn't have a formal, Mishkan. They did have a public altar, a public bama in Gilgal, and at that time, it was permissible to make your own bama in your backyard. Now the question is, what do you do in these bamas? Any carbon is allowed, or is it limited to a certain type of carbonis? Any difference between a private person bringing a carbon and the public bringing theirs? Any difference between a private bama and the public bama? Says there are many differences. Actually, we're going to have 5-6 opinions regarding these guidelines. Tanaraban. Here comes a brisa with many opinions. Kol nidav v'nidav hayikarav b'bama. You meant to know that if a private person, an individual, decides to bring a carbon, whether it's a private bama or he travels to the central bama, he can only do donations, voluntary karbanis, an oila, a shlamim, a gift. She'ein nidav v'nidav, but ones that don't fit that description, obligatory karbanis, achatas, and asham, which you have to bring, ein karav b'bama, you can't bring it. Wrong time. You have to wait until we have a proper mishkan. Rashi points out that even according to this shita, which is Rameir, of course, the tzibur, the public, are not limited. They can bring karbanis in their public altar as they wish. Another example of neder v'nadav is a mincha, uniziris, right? Karbanis that a nazir will bring. All these are, resulting from his undertaking. And therefore, craving b'bama, a private person can bring it in his bama. So they disagree just in one detail, that mincha and nazirus you are also off the list. So the private individual is limited to pure neder and nadava like oil shlamim, which he will bring, but not even a mincha and not even nazirus, as the Gemara will explain later. They hold that there's no mincha by Ibama. They hold that the karbanos that the nazir brings are really obligatory based on the experience that he experienced, although he undertook the experience, but once he starts the experience, it sort of takes a life of its own, and ultimately the karbanos are considered chayva, and therefore he cannot offer it during this point in history. Rabbi Aimer, he says, no, you, private person, you can bring even chayvais, provided you take it to the central bama. Whatever anybody was to bring in the midbar, in the formal mishkan, do the same in Gilgal. Any difference between the two, situations? Between the mishkan and the midbar, or the oil moed and Gilgal? Yeah, the difference is that in the midbar, you couldn't have your own backyard a bama. But now you could. While the Mishkan was standing in the midbar, bamis were offline. Gilgal, however, you can make your own bama. But in your bama, sitting on your your rooftop, there you're limited. It's not meant for chayvais. Over there you can only bring voluntary karbanis. So again, according to Rabbi Yehuda, in a private bama, only the daram and davais, in a bama sibur, anything works. Now they will present seemingly the same opinion that they presented earlier, which the Gemara will dwell upon. It seems like a repetition. Whatever the public brings in the midbar, they do likewise in the Gilgal, in the public bama. V'kan, whether it's a public bama or a private bama, regarding an individual bringing karbanis like karbu, yachid, el oil shlam levad, only oil shlamim, and nothing else, which seems to be exact replica of the chachamim a minute ago. And the Gemara will, of course, focus on this in a minute. Here comes one last sheet, Reb Shimon. He says, look, up until now we, in terms of the public's ability to offer karbanis, blank check, right? Reb Shimon says, no, even they are limited in their public bama in terms of what they can bring. Reb Shimon Aimer av tzibur, even in a public bama, even if it's a tzibur, they can only bring time-related obligatory karbanis. For instance, psachim, v'chayves, shekabol and zman, or chayves which are time-sensitive, like the daily tamid, but they can't bring even public karbanis which are not time-sensitive, like a par helam davish al tzibur, which was discussed back in Maseches Haris, if they sinned, all those types of things. Okay, so we have a total of 5-6 shittas here, which the Gemara will explain. Will provide sourcing coming up right now. My time at the Rameir. Okay, back to Rameir. It says, a private individual, you're limited to just donations. Donations only. My time at the Rameir. Why? It's a pasuk. What's the context of this pasuk? Moshe Rabbeinu is addressing our nation. Prior to entering Eretz Yisrael, he says, look, now you have a free hand. All options are open. But once you enter Eretz Yisrael and you shift into a new system of bamais, when you enter Eretz Yisrael, you can only bring your sharis, those that find favor in your eyes, meaning voluntary gifts, donations. You can't bring chayvais in a bama. So an individual cannot bring anything other than donations. And menachos and nazirus. Yisharis ninu. What also fits that category? What's covered by Yisharis? A mencha, the carbon of a nazir. That's Rameir's opinion. So again, according to Rameir, a private person, a yachid, can only bring donated karbanis, including mincha and nazirus. Now, of course, the tzibur in their bama can do whatever they want. For Rabbanan agree but disagree on one point. Ein mincha b'bama. In concept, we agree. A yachid is limited to Nadarim and Davis, but don't add mincha or nazirus. First of all, there's no mincha by a bama. Rashi brings the psukim to back that up. And number two, the carbon of a nazir, although it came about through his undertaking, but once he lived through the experience of nazirus, the karbanis that are meant as part of the culmination of that process are no longer regarded as his gifts. They're obligatory karbanis that kick in at that point. Nazirus chayvas ninu, in which case a yachad can't bring it in a bama. Amar Shmuel. We all know that a nazir has several karbanis that he can bring. Chatas, asham, oila, v'shlamim, right? So, which ones are we discussing? On which ones do we have this disagreement in terms of whether it's considered a nedava, because ultimately it came about through his goodwill, or no, it's a chayva because the nazir experience per se is what triggers that obligation. So, on which one of these karbanis are we talking about? The chatas and asham or the oila v'shlam? Amar Shmuel machlekes b'chatas v'asham. It's only by the chatas v'asham that the chacham say it's considered like a chayva, because by its very essence, a chatas and asham is considered a chayva. But by oila v'shlam of a nazir, they all agree. Even chacham agree. They're considered donated karbanis. The carving can bring it in a bama, although it was triggered by the nazirus, but it's the donated aspect of his nazirus. Moisev Rab has a question on this from a brayso, which will highlight the difference between a central bama and a private bama. Chazei v'shoik, the part that's given from the shlamim to the kain, the trumas lachmitoida, the waving, the truma, the donating of the breads of the toida given to a kain. The toida has several breads, and 1 of 10 is given to the kain. Noigin b'magdola. These procedures only apply in a central bama. But they don't apply in a private bama ktani. You bring a toida in a private bama, you have it all for yourself. So the brayso made reference to the portions of the shlamim, portions of the toida. What about portions of the shlamim that a nazir brings, which has its own unique procedure? There's something called zroya b'shela, the cooked arm, which is given to the kohen. Why is that not discussed in this brayso, highlighting the difference between a bama gdela or matana? So it would sound like the brayso is not discussing it because you can't bring. A nazir can't bring his shlamim, period. You can't bring it in a bama because it's not considered a donated entity, because it was triggered by the nazirus experience, as we explained before. V'ilu hazroya b'shela, this zroya b'shela item, the part of the nazir's shlamim, Shairi was deleted, was omitted from this brayso. Apparently, because it's not applicable. Why? You can't bring it in a bama. Now, if indeed there's a machlokes regarding an oil v'shlamim of a nazir, and the chacham say you can't bring it, hamani rabbanon, makes sense. This brayso follows rabbanon. It's not relevant. But if you maintain that the discussion is limited to chatas v'asham, but by shlamim of a nazir, all agree it's considered a donated entity, hamani. So this brisa which omits it, which sounds like it's not relevant and not brought by Ibama, whose shita is this? Rather, we have to revise the halach. It was learned like this. Amar Shmuel, machlekes, by the shlamim. It's by the Eilu V'Shlamim that we have this disagreement. Over there, Rameir says it's considered a donated entity, and this brisa will follow the Rabbanon that it's not considered a nedav. It's considered a chayva. Aval b'chatas v'asham, but chatas v'asham of a nazir. Dibra Kol all agree. Chayvas ninu, by their very essence, the chatas v'asham are considered chayvas, even though they're part of the nazir package. All agree chayvas ninu. They're chayvas v'leikarvi, and they're not going to be offered in a bama. Amar chacham aimrim. Chacham maintained that this is all regarding a person's, private person's carbon, but a tzibur brings karbanos, they're unlimited. They can bring anything they want in the bamas tzibur. My time with the Rabbanon. Where are they coming from? The Makra. Isha yashab einav yaseh. This limitation of donations only, the sharais, that's for a person, for a private citizen. Ish, private person, yesharais or the likruv, chayvus likruv can bring only donations and not chayvus. But the tzibur, the public, they have all the options open. I feel chayvus likruv, they can bring even chayvus. Now, what about Rabbi Yehuda's opinion? He's the one who says that even a private person can bring a chayva, as long as he takes it to the public bama. In your private backyard, only in a davis. But if you're willing to travel to the central bama, you can even bring a chantos. Where's his source? From this very same pasuk. Rabbi Yehuda tells you like this: Kiksiv hayashar, abeinu v'tachsiv. The word yashar, which is a limiting term, limiting it to donations, relates only to be'enav, to the bama which is right in front of him. But if I'll take it to the central bama, even as a private person, he can bring a chantos. Aval bama g'dayla afilu chayvus nam elikruv. Even a chayva works. Ask the Gemara. But if that were so, why would the pasuk say the word ish? It would just say kol yasher be'enav. Why the word ish? It sounds like the Torah is telling you that a ish, a private person, can never bring anything other than donations wherever he goes. Elo ksiv ish. Lav maybe isn't it coming to teach us the ish that a private person yesharos or the likriv can only bring donations wherever he is. Hachavos likriv v'nat chayvus. And so the Gemara, no, the word ish is needed for something entirely different, to allow an ankayin to do the avodah nebama kiksiv ish lachshas azar, to tell you that a zar, even an ish, a zar can do the avodah nebama. Well, that's from a different pasuk. Zar, mivazar kakoyin, hadam, mizbeach Hashem nafka. That's one from a different pasuk, which tells you that the koyin does the application of the blood on mizbeach Hashem, indicating only there mizbeach Hashem, Pesach Oyel Moed, in a formal setting you need a koyin, but in a bama even a regular person can do the avodah. So why do we need the extra pasuk ish for that? Nafka. It's learned from there. The answer is Ma'od. Perhaps I would think, yeah, a koyin not, but maybe a bachar, like the good old days, the firstborn. The boy kiddush b'chayros, kimikar, maybe only a b'char is acceptable, like the good old days. Kamashmon comes to pasuk and says, ish, even an ordinary person can do the avodah nebam. One last question, which we alluded to before, the chacham. Towards the end of the brayso, we had the chacham who say, pretty much they're stating the opinion, which is a replica of Reb Meir. Because they're both saying that a yachid is limited to nadarim and davos, and he cannot bring chayvos, right? Which is strikingly similar to the chacham in the beginning of the brayso, which also say that a yachid can bring merely oilos and shlamim, right? So pretty much it's a repetition. What's the point of repeating it again? Papa, there's a slight difference regarding the sachem. True, a yachid can only bring darim and davis in a bama. What about nesachim, the extra there, the wines and all those things that are brought with a carbon? Do you bring it in a bama? So according to the first chachamim, the answer is no. According to the second chacham, the answer is yes. And what's that connected to? Papa, it really connects to an earlier discussion. What happened in the midbar? You see, it goes like this. We had this a couple of days ago. Let's just repeat it. Basically, there is a pasuk which says when you enter Eretz Yisrael, you'll bring the sachem. So the pasuk introduces the idea of Nesachim upon entering Eretz Yisrael. Two ways to look at it. Were there Nesachim in the Midbar? In which case, why is the pasuk introducing it again? To add another aspect, another layer. That Nesachim apply even in a private bama. So that would be the opinion of the second Chachamim. On the other hand, you can say, Nesachim will practice in the Midbar, it will not practice in the Midbar. And that's why the pasuk has to introduce to us, look, when you enter Eretz Yisrael, bring the Nesachim, but perhaps only in a public setting. You have no right to extend it to a private setting. So that's the opinion of the first Chacham. There were no Nesachim in the Bama. A Bama Siacha did not have Nesachim. And Papa covered Nesachim in Midbar. The difference is whether or not there were Nesachim in the Midbar, and that sort of triggers this chain of questions regarding how and where Nesachim were practiced. Okay, so in summation, we have several shittas regarding the ability to bring a carbon in a bama. We start with Reb Meir, who says that a yachid can only bring darim and davais, mincha, nazir, that's also included. Regarding the tzibur, in a bama's tzibur, blank check. Rabbi Yehuda says, even a yachid can bring chayvais in a bama's tzibur, and certainly the tzibur can do so. Chacham hold, a yachid can only bring darim and davais, but not mincha and nazirus. They disagree on that. Regarding the Nesachim, we have two opinions, yes, no. The tzibur can bring anything they want. Reb Shimon says a yachid only darim and davais, and the tzibur only chayvais asher kavod lahenzman. All the best to you and atzlach.